Hey, it's Frank here with 4D Honeybee, and look at this action. 3 hives on February 23rd. It's an incredible day here. It's, February 27th. It's 15 degrees out in Celsius, which is around 62, low 60s in Fahrenheit. And the bees are out and about, and it's a great sign. I haven't seen them for over 5 weeks now. I haven't come out. And it looks like we've got 3 healthy hives going here that are almost surviving winter. Now, it's not over yet. They've still got a few weeks. We're not going to have many days with temperatures that are where the daytime high is below freezing. So things are warming up pretty good. But this is a really good sign that all the hives are alive and healthy. Here's the piles of dead bees. This first hive here is my healthiest hive going in. The middle hive here was not very healthy at all. Not many dead bees or bee parts there. I wonder if there's a relation. But it still survived. You can see there's plenty of action up there. And the third hive here was strong, but it didn't yield any honey. So they did build a lot of brood. There was a good number of bees going in. But just overall, look at the action here. It's just incredible. It's just what you want to see. So my mission today is just to do another check here of their stores. Maybe give them a little more sugar candy that I've got so they can last until for the next month or so. And then soon it'll be adding pollen for them to start feeding the young ones, and then sugar water. And then hopefully going into season with 3 healthy hives. That'll be a first for me. So we'll take a look at all of them. I don't have the pine chips to be able to replace the pine on the top of their hive, which it will probably be pretty wet, but I'll just check it out and plan to replace it in the next couple of days. So thanks for joining me. Let's have a look. So here I am just about to put my veil on, and look who's waiting for me in the veil. A young bee that I'm going to bring back to her little home here before I put her on my head. Okay, so again, I apologize about the wind noise. I'm really not professional enough a videographer to be able to do much about it. But hopefully you can hear what I'm saying. I'll try to speak up. Just gonna have a look in these hives and see what's happening as far as moisture in the pine shavings first off. Oh, there's lots of bees in there. Why are there so many bees in there? There really shouldn't be. You can see there's lots of live bees in there, so they're coming in and out. They shouldn't be getting in there. I don't really know how that's... Oh, that's how it's happening right there. Jeepers, look at that space. Oh well. Okay, well, I'm not overly concerned about it because there's not too much mortality here, just a few bees. And I don't see too big a downside to it, although it's not what I prefer. But yeah, there's some moisture here. It's not too bad, actually. These shavings are overall pretty dry. You can just see a little bit of moisture here and a little bit of moisture here. The rest of it is very dry, which is great news. And I will replace some of it. You can see there's kind of good ventilation here. The moisture is just coming up, hitting the top lid there, the outer lid, condensing and then falling back down, but it's not getting on the bees. It's trapped on the actual pine shavings because the underside of the pine shavings remains quite dry. So that's been something that's really worked well this year. Now I'm just going to lift this box up here and see what their candy stores are like, and hopefully just top them off a little bit with some more candy if they need it. Okay, so as you can see, they still have a bit of candy there, not too much. I'm going to give them just a bit more, just in case. And that's good. I mean, that I've refed them once. So I initially fed them, you know, in November. I refed them in mid-January, and then gave them this top up right now in late February. So basically 3 rounds of hard candy has been all they've needed, and they're in good shape. So we'll check the other hives and do the same, and hopefully it's the same picture. I mean, it's really positive. Lots of bees still feeding on their own honey stores, and feeding a little bit on the candy I've given them as well. Okay, look at hive number 2 here, and this was by far the weakest hive. I wouldn't have been surprised at all to see this hive not make it through the winter. But so far it has. And again, looking at the pine shavings here, it's just a bit of moisture. It's not too bad. This is completely dry. That's dry. You can see I've got a little dowel there for extra ventilation. And there is moisture on the lid. Next year what I think I'll do is I will put a layer of insulation on this lid here to hopefully prevent the cooling, which causes the condensation and causes the water to fall back down. But even with that, I'm very happy with how this system worked out, because the #1 goal was not to let water come back down onto the bees, and that has worked well. So let's see how these guys are doing here. Let's get the sugar ready. Again, this is a weak hive, but they'd consume the least amount of sugar. I would have expected that they would have consumed the most sugar, but maybe it's just that there aren't that many bees available to consume sugar. See, there's still a ton of sugar there. I'll give them a little bit more, but I don't really think they need it. I think they're doing okay. So, again, I don't want to keep them open too long because they get pretty nasty in the winter, combined with the wind. I mean, it's nice that they're out and about and doing their evacuation flights, I guess, to pee and poo, but they don't get happy when they get poked at. That's what I've found, at least. So that's enough. We know they've got enough stores, and we'll look at the last hive and give them a little more sugar, and that's it. Okay, so last hive was the strongest hive going into the winter, and now this hive I kind of messed up with the winterization kit on this hive, because if you see one of my previous videos, I did a 1/2-inch mesh that holds the sugar candy, and then I did a much tighter screen so that the bees wouldn't get through that up in this upper box here. But I ran out of it on this hive, so I just put pieces of it in, and of course the pieces kind of came apart, so I made a mess of it. But looking again at this pine here, and the top is pretty damp. You can see there's moisture on the top of the box as well, which again is to be expected. It's not too bad. But when you dig a little further down from the top, you find it to be quite dry in there. So I will replace this though, because it probably loses some of its insulating qualities when it gets wet. But I mean, it's still plenty thick, so I think they are getting insulating quality, and it's certainly doing its job as far as not allowing the moisture to come back down and hit the bees. So let's see how these guys are feeding. Give them a little bit of sugar, and then that's it for this visit. Wow. Yeah, they've eaten a lot. You can see they've eaten from the inside out. And they've basically eaten a big concentric circle of hard sugar from that setup that I did. So again, I'm pretty happy with that. Sorry I'm not letting you look at the bees much longer, but just trying to keep the inspections short and the time that the hive is open to a bare minimum, so that it bugs them the least amount. And that's it. 3 hives that have so far made it through winter, and they're looking very good. The weather forecast is very favorable. We don't see any more daytime highs below freezing for the next 2 or 3 weeks. So heading into March, temperatures are going to be fairly warm. Now we just need to make sure bees can starve quite easily in March, just because, again, they don't have enough stores and they're not able to feed their brood once the brood starts hatching. So the plan is over the next couple of weeks probably to bring some pollen in so they can start creating those carbs to feed the little guys, the new ones, and then sugar water thereafter. Then hopefully we start the season with three ongoing healthy hives. Thanks for joining me. It's Frank at 40 Honeybee.